intros. Here we go, fireside chat, Zoya. So this is even a little bit different. Zoya is a complete rock star. You're about to find out, and she's got a killer sports tech company, and she's in the thick of the fundraising process. Which, for those of you that have been involved with this kind of stuff, it's a lot of work, and I want everyone who is in my world to see this and chomp at the bit and compete to invest with Zoya. So Zoya, what problem are you solving, and what's going on in the startup world that you're in that you're crushing?
Yeah, appreciate that. So I'm solving my own problem. I've got 3 kids. Part of the problem is, of course, the fact that they are athletes, and one of the things that we're most proud of course, as well. So their ages 13, 9, and 6, and all the while that I've been in corporate of the 20 years in financial services, which is where our paths respectively crossed a couple of years ago, now ironically sitting on this side of the house in sports tech. The problem that I experienced during that time day to day is the fact that logistics of youth sports is a real thing. We've normalized the chaos, which I know many other use cases kind of present as such, but specifically within youth sports. Across our 3 athletes, we swim year round, we're competitive swimmers. My husband went to Penn Swim his whole life as well, so we kind of produce them in the water, so to speak, club lacrosse, club soccer. So really competitive, high frequency construct and really the rhythm of our house. And so when our family, much like many others as well, operates at that frequency, we operate at a military grade precision time management. Minutes matter. Details are king. We do not assume, we clarify. We need to know where the conflicts are. We need to know who's driving. We need to know who's collaborating. And if those relationships are not being upheld with such precision on both sides of the house, in case of a coveted carpool that, many of us are kind of, I would say, curating very intentionally to make sure that we've got that trust circle, there's a lot of kind of implications that come with that. So organization on the go, Orgo, was born April of last year. We incorporated, I assembled a team of doers who saw the world the same, coaches, professionals. We've got a team of 4 founding partners, highly technical team as well. So we built our own product. We didn't raise, we put product over pitch, as I like to say, and we started to design a world that I would personally benefit from, designing from the inside out. It's a pain to purpose story, people. To know it, to live it, it's exactly the opportunity to want to fix it. So we've laid out logistics of daily life specifically through that lens, recognizes that, once again, details matter. Things like travel time to, travel back from, preparation, early arrival in the case of youth sports. Sometimes coaches require for up to an hour early arrival for warm-ups, etc. And so that's a significant chunk of time that's not represented anywhere. And what I operated with previously was within Google Calendar, which we love, of course, a very flat kind of 2D representation of 2 to 3 p.m. That's the soccer game. And you're like, oh, cool, we'll just dial into 2 to 3 p.m. just like we are now, and we'll kind of like magically float in there. Of course, that's not the way that we traverse space and time, and so distances matter, people matter, places, things, and so it's more of a 4D representation that includes preparation, travel time to and from, as I mentioned, the full duration of the event, early arrival, and also drivers, driver to, staying at, and driver from. Excuse me. So it's a reimagined representation of what time should be and the way that we as sports families especially spend those days. Then overlaid across multiple kids, as I have, you see those conflicts very, very clearly. We point those out to you explicitly so you may resolve, in fact, that you cannot be in 2 places at the same time. You do have to manipulate coverage. You start to bring in folks within your circle, within your crew, is what we call it. We construct a crew alongside with you that recognizes the people in your life. You start to collaborate across each of those events, etc., and then you start to receive notifications that guide you. We like to say the ways of your day with turn-by-turn instructions. They say it's time to start preparing. It's time to start driving. When that happens, we launch you right into navigation, which is the next best action that you're about to take anyway. It takes all the friction and the questioning and the unknowns out of it. And I will tell you that ever since we've been operating with this thing within our own family for the past several months that we've been in market officially in April of this year, weekends are busy, but I welcome it because it's just a matter of execution. We're smoothly flowing to and fro. The kids are aware. They're building executive skills, which is kind of the other side of the equation. They see their day clearly. They understand the dependencies that there are. They look around the calendar, so to speak, to think about where are other people. If I have to, my 13-year-old, she's booking her babysitting gigs all the time and she's making plans with her friends. She requires a ride. She has to put that in there. And then we start to kind of negotiate on availability that way. So double-sided benefit, if you will. Parents, chaos. executive skills for the kids.
You kind of got me there. You saw my facial expression. I didn't think about that. The two-way street, right?
Yeah.
So that's a perfect, kind of transition, right? Let's talk about sports tech as an industry and as a landscape. There is no doubt that you are solving a very real and very meaningful problem. You experience it, your kids experience it, their teammates, and so on and so forth. And so for those in my network, and it runs, far, wide, and deep, especially in these areas, from a sports tech investor perspective, why should they get excited about getting to know you? And I obviously am going to keep reinforcing it because it's a no-brainer. But tell us a little bit about your founder background, your founder story, and what you've been learning about as you've started to approach the sports tech environment from an investor and partner and otherwise.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, newcomer. My tagline is, I traded fintech for sports tech. And so that's essentially an opportunity for me to come in with fresh eyes and start to navigate these waters within, this new ecosystem. And there's a couple of findings. First of all, the people within, I have found such a home with. There is camaraderie, there's mission alignment, there's passion, there's some way that everyone is trying to work with one another in a way to further the cause that is, whether it's fandom, whether it's youth sports, it's all kind of integrated. And I love the reciprocity through which professional players are coming back and contributing either in financial ways or becoming more involved with, nonprofit organizations themselves, et cetera. So I just love that ecosystem at large. So as a newcomer, feel right at home in that regard. Technically wise, however, this is where more of the investment art comes in. The world that I came from in banking and financial services of 20 years, it is founded on integration over time. That's a space that has matured and has had the runway to kind of get to the point where there was white labeling and there is a lot of API enablement and there's not a whole lot of single feature offerings. In fact, there are broader ecosystems that became monopolies, in fact, because they started to really double down on the integration play. So for us, we see an opportunity in which we come in at I call the downstream of this equation where we're on the execution side of the house. Everything that precedes us as parents in this case, that's the ecosystem that exists. That's the team management players that obviously all of us know very well. I receive a ton of emails from TeamSnap, League Apps, Sports Engine, especially if you're a multi-sport family like we are, you're just kind of getting inundated with all of it. And all of it lands manually into the capable arms of us parents, and then we become that central hub. We have to do that administration and collation, if you will. So I question and beg, as to why should we? We have a precedent for that in other areas. Let us become the ecosystem that starts to API connect with those upstream entities. We become the catch-all, the source of truth, if you will, that allows for parents to execute with precision as described on those commitments. Everybody's happy, the ecosystem's complete. So we really are the remaining leg of that user journey. They're what I call within the planning stage of that. We're at the execution stage, then plus us equals the complete end-to-end journey.
I love it. And I've got a bit of experience in the sports industry, as you know, and a bit of experience in the sports tech space. So let's talk directly to the investor community within that space. You're seeing and hearing a lot of enthusiasm around all different types of sports, all different types of capital that's flowing in. And so let's talk a little bit about what kind of investors are you looking for? What kind of profile, what kind of folks would you love to get in front of and have a conversation with? Because I feel like this is such an absolute no-brainer on so many levels, but I'd love to give you an opportunity to speak to that if that's useful.
Yeah, I appreciate that very much. So from an investment perspective, it's a strategic play that we have deployed within our raise strategy. So to kind of give you the journey to date is we bootstrapped for 18 months.
Nice.
We brought a commercialized great product into market. Of course, we're hardening it. We're iterating on it. We're building out those integrations, and we are looking for a pre-seed bridge round. The reason that we're structured it as such, I like to call it the 80-20 rule. We brought ourselves 80% of the way. Can we continue to bridge the gap to the remaining 20, pull up on those integrations, start to monetize, really kind of grow at scale? Absolutely. But this is not what we should be doing at the pace that we have. It is time to accelerate. It is time to take the proof points that we've received, qualitative, quantitative. We have 1,500 users on our platform. We've acquired them 100% organically through the means of our own, existing channels, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, of course, and partnerships. We've got nonprofit partnerships. So back to your good question regarding the profile, anybody who's already operating with mission-led mindset, whether it's passion-led, whether it's underserved communities and nonprofits that align to that space, those are the relationships that we're forging and building ourselves as the moat, if you will, from like a defensible point of view. We have a really robust financial model with all the various go-to-market strategies that we'll put to use. So that's kind of where we are. And we're being very prudent, extremely capital efficient as we have been, not taking any more than we absolutely need. But seed round will be very exciting, and we've got lots of players lined up for that round.
I love it. And giving you a big shout out, you build in public and you crush it. And I'm sure folks in my network are going to be like, oh, that's the Zoya that Alec talks about, right? So here we go. Is there anything else that you want to share with my followers, my network? Because I am going to be very direct in sharing this video and the little micro essay that comes with it with a bunch of different folks in my network that should, I think, take a look at this. But anything else that you want to share, Zoya, before we wrap things up?
I really appreciate that opportunity. I would say this, the ship is about to go off. Like, it's happening no matter what. So there's no resistance here. It's just a matter of whom would like to be at the ground level, because this is truly as ground as it gets. So having an opportunity to impact that journey very personally and directly. We've got a great board that we've assembled. And so this is just a way to become part of this amazing team that's doing some great things and looking to impact the lives of millions. So come on over.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love it. All right, we're going to wrap things up here. But Zoya, thank you so much for taking the time. We'll be sure to put this thing out there and keep doing what you're doing. And I can't wait to hear about all the successes go forward.
Appreciate you.
Take care. You too.